Welcome to the students of Certificate Program on HIV/AIDS and Family Education. We have already brought to you several video programs related to this course. The basic idea of this video program is to give an understanding and the importance of communication on HIV.
Lights, sound, camera, action.
Today, in the information age, tools of communication are proliferating as never before. Electronic media has caught the popular imagination and its reach is ever increasing. Television is fast replacing the hitherto popular mass medium, radio. But internet is also catching up, at least in the urban areas. Simultaneously, we are witness to a large variety of other types of media, that is, newspapers, magazines, leaflets, public hoardings that are coexisting and devising innovative ways of attracting attention. Public education campaigns are utilizing these mediums to reach across wider population. Such a boom of information, however, does not necessarily ensure awareness, effecting a change in the attitude and behavior of the people. In a country like ours, with such a great cultural and linguistic diversity, the task of communicating for behavior change is a complex and challenging task. It's all the more difficult when we plan to tackle an issue such as AIDS. While no one can deny the role of IEC, that is, Information, Education and Communication, as an integral component of the strategy to combat the menace of HIV, studies have shown that IEC has fallen short of achieving the desired objectives. One of the major reasons lies in the fact that a large number of people still believe that sickness like HIV/AIDS is the result of one's karma.
Yes, this is true, and unfortunately, this is a common impression amongst our people that HIV/AIDS, like many other diseases, is caused by God's curse, by bad karmas in the previous births, or such other things. Even today, the government of India, lot of non-governmental organizations, social institutions, educational institutions have made a lot of serious efforts over a period of time in every language, using all possible sources of communication, that HIV/AIDS in fact is caused by a virus. It is in a sense a behavioral problem. But in order to understand this, people should carefully read the messages that are already available to them and understand them. Then alone the people will be aware of the real cause of the disease, which will help them to change their behavior. It is a tragedy that many of the patients come to us at a very late stage in the disease, and there is very little we can do about it. And therefore, the major cure, the major mode of prevention of HIV/AIDS in our country today is awareness, and increasingly awareness, which would translate into behavior of the people.
While illiteracy plays its own role, the varied cultural background and social ethos makes the choice of media and the nature of messages crucial components for the efficacious communication. A trainer or a communicator needs to understand the complex interrelationship of the message, the medium, and the masses, while the mass media, including press, television, and cinema can address a large audience, they not only require huge money but also can't cater to the specific needs of the target groups. These are basically one-way communication. They can't respond or take into account the responses and emotional, ethical reflexes of the people. IPC, that is interpersonal communication, has a great advantage as a communication strategy. The face-to-face communication is the most effective in eliciting action as the prolonged eye contact facilitates transfer of information and knowledge with emotion. A variety of folk media and group media options are available, which are affordable, economical and flexible to accommodate specific needs and cultural ethos of a select target group. Street theatre, for example, has become a very popular form for the public awareness campaigns. They have personal touch, use the language and idiom of the people and strike immediate rapport with the masses. It has the element of story that spectators can identify with. It uses the device of folk songs or ballets to reach the message across.
मैं नहीं उधर जाऊंगा तू मत जा तेरे को कौन बोल रहा है सुन ले हाँ सुन लियो जा रहा सावधानी नाल जाई उसमें सावधानी क्या तू लेके चल यार ਹੁਣ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਕੀ ਸਮਝਾਵਾਂ ਉਹ ਲੈ ਜਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਮਰ ਕਰ ਮੂੰਹ ਕਾਲਾ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ
ਇਹ ਕੀ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਜੀ
बहुत रोकिया सी मैं बहुत रोकिया सी बापू क्या हो गया तुम्हें बापू मैं क्या जी मैं बहुत रोकिया
था कमाने के लिए कहता था तेरे लिए साड़ी लाऊंगा लिपस्टिक लाऊंगा
मैंने बहुत रोकिया सी मैं क्या गंदी जगह आऊंगी ना मन नहीं कंडा पर जाई पे उथे भी पर जाई है मैं की करा पर जाई जी हुन
As non-formal theatre, it requires minimum infrastructure. Its intimate and simple form involves the audience into the play and even discussion about the theme by breaking the distinction between the players and the spectators.
कि तुम्हारी घरवाली इस तरह रोए और तुम लोगों की ऐसी हालत हो क्या तुम चाहोगे कभी ऐसा नहीं करो
भाई साहब जोर से बोलिए हम नहीं चाहेंगे कभी नहीं चाहेंगे हम हमेशा इससे बच के रहेंगे.
The street play as a means of communication has tremendous potential to make the public know or become conscious, fully aware of a situation. You know, in a street play, which is a medium actually meant for both the educated and the uneducated, you see a member of your own community suffering from HIV/AIDS, and you find out why he suffers. This kind of a depiction creates tremendous impact on the audience. And notice in a 15-minute street play, which is presented by a group that is very much convinced of the need to make people aware, you communicate very powerfully because the group that is trying to communicate is convinced of the need for communicating. And this is where the power of the street play comes. For the performers themselves are social activists. And they feel they have a message to communicate and they want to deliver it at any cost. So the kind of images that they use, the mime that is used, the singing and dancing that goes with it, the satire that is used, all these become very, very effective in making the people fully aware of the situation. And that is why the street play succeeds. Even when television and internet and videos are all very popular, it's a very traditional old medium, but it has its moments. It really communicates. And in a rural situation, AIDS is, I believe, is a sickness, is an illness, even in the rural areas. And you need to use this medium very powerfully.
Puppetry is another very popular media. Traditionally performed in public places or village fairs, they have immediate acceptance among the spectators.
देखो रंगली दिलीप गांव में शहर से एक डॉक्टर और नर्स आए हुए हैं. चलो रंगली हम और गांव वाले उनके पास चलते हैं और उनसे एड्स के बारे में जानकारी लेते हैं. चलो.
Like street theatre, it uses story and songs to catch the popular imagination and serves as a very effective tool.
अगर किसी का खून ले तो पहले उसकी जांच करा ले, रक्त की जांच करा ले। वाह वाह। जब भी डॉक्टर से सुई लगवाएं तो पुरानी सुई को आधे घंटे तक गर्म पानी में उबाले अथवा नई सुई का प्रयोग करे। ये बीमारी छुआछूत की नहीं है। तो क्या है? आप एड्स के मरीज के साथ भोजन कर सकते हैं, उसके साथ बैठकर बातें कर सकते हैं, उसके शौचालय का प्रयोग भी कर सकते हैं।
Similarly, mime and pantomime is a very effective tool. It uses body gestures and movements, while a song, a poem or a story is read off stage, or sometimes even without a word being uttered, it conveys more powerfully than a whole book. It requires bare minimum support to enact and is extremely economical means of communication. Many a group and trainers also make a very effective use of role play by acting out a situation. It could involve participants also to understand a problem more intimately before launching into its discussion and analysis. It is a very effective means of participative communication and learning.
Yes, the one and the 1, 2, 3, finish the one. Absolutely, yeah.
The popular appeal of magic show can also serve as a very useful platform for information, education and communication.
Yes. Oh. Yes, thank you very much. Bhaiya.
However, in packaging message by means of fun and frolic, care must be taken that the message is not lost or laughed away.
कुछ नहीं यार, कुछ नहीं यार। ही मैन के लिए जोर से ताली बजाए। क्या मजा आ गया ना? Wonderful, I say. Okay.
This brings us to a very crucial question regarding the nature of message. The earlier method of giving frightening and negative message have proved not only ineffective but also counterproductive. Experiences have shown that campaigning on fear by highlighting death to create awareness resulted in making people powerless to prevent infection. This led to reckless and insensitive behavior rather than sensitizing and empowering the people.
Communication about HIV/AIDS is involved in all aspects of the process, from prevention to treatment to advocacy for policies that are helpful to controlling the epidemic.
How should one broach the topic of HIV/AIDS involving issues of sexual behavior to the common people without offending them?
HIV/AIDS is a difficult topic to communicate about. Yet, in various parts of the world, we have some very effective programs. Some of them have pushed back the boundaries of what topics can be discussed. Topics that were previously sensitive or even taboo to talk about, now we can discuss. The worldwide AIDS epidemic has had some positive effects in clearing the way for being able to talk about topics dealing with health, sex, with death, that were not possible even 10 years ago and certainly not 20 years ago.
AIDS is obviously a very sensitive issue. It deals with our very intimate personal behaviors, whether it's IV drug use or whether it's sexuality. People generally don't share these kinds of behaviors or their manifestation with others, and hence media has a very challenging role in front of it in order to address these kinds of issues. So the key really is for media to design programs that create a forum for discussion and debate in a culturally appropriate manner, and to do it in a way so that people feel comfortable sharing and disclosing, and that can only happen when the environment, whether it's the family environment or the community environment or the national environment, is such that such issues can be discussed and debated.
Could you give us some examples when you got hostile response?
Except initially when we started the sex education and FLE program, maybe I had a little bit of hostile or maybe lukewarm response. Rest of the responses have been very, very welcoming. The reason is that I involve parents and teachers in the program from the very beginning. When I visit a new school or I'm asked to run a program, I show my materials, slides, and I share them with the teachers and parents. And I have their approval, so they become stakeholders, they become partners in educating the youth. And many times it happens that the parents and the teachers tell me, Doc, can we also sit through the program? Because while going through a program, the kids will know more than us. So that is how you turn a potentially explosive subject into something natural, something friendly, where people want to join in rather than run away from that. It depends how the subject is approached, what material is made, and what messages are you wanting to give to the young people. Once the adults, the parents and teachers understand that the messages are here to help the adolescents and help the youth, they become partners rather than hostile people.
How does NGO tackle the culture-specific issues related to sex education with respect to developing information, education and communication campaigns?
As an NGO, we have been conducting family life education for adolescents and youths in our own slum areas, and we organize focus group discussions and discuss issues related to sex and sexual behavior, and HIV/AIDS is discussed at length. My experience is that people do come out with the questions, and once you start facilitating the discussion, they are not shy of discussing or asking questions related to it. We also have a question boxes kept in the communities where people can put their questions and the answers are given in the next focus group discussions.
Coming back to the medium, posters are another very handy and effective information, education and communication tool used extensively. Though the text on a poster has limited appeal, especially for the illiterate masses, a well-designed and executed poster seeks to blend text and visual for a wider appeal. Kiosks are an extension and hoarding an evolution of posters. Similarly, banners and wall writings attract attention repeatedly and intrude into consciousness gradually. Photo language sessions are another cost-effective means of spreading the awareness. Evocative photographs on uniform-size cardboard are used to tell a story or initiate a group discussion.
This lady, from where did she get this HIV? Might be from the transfusion, blood transfusion or infected needles.
One photograph can tell the story of 1,000 words and spark of discussion in the right direction. Have you ever tried to think of a caption for a photograph? Just think of the chain of thought this initiates. Flip charts and flashcards are another form of information, education and communication tool. A series of posters clipped at the top with explanatory text is another very useful and economical IEC tool to reach out HIV/AIDS awareness. As you flip the charts or use cards with illustrations, a story unfolds giving relevant information followed by discussions.
मेरा कहने का मतलब है जैसे हमारे पति जैसे ड्राइवर हुए या कहीं बाहर आते जाते हैं या किसी औरत से हमारे पति ने अगर गलत संबंध करते हैं तो उनको इष्ट होता है हाँ, जैसे हम हाँ औरत के जैसे होते हैं तो औरत गलत है, औरत दूसरे आदमी के पास जाते, तीसरे आदमी के पास जाते, इसलिए औरत के गलत है, औरत की इसलिए रोग होते हैं.
Similar exercise can be carried out with cartoon strips and comic books. This media is particularly effective with the young and adolescent children who get attracted to them naturally. Creating messages and visuals in the form of comic books and cartoon strips with the message of AIDS requires careful planning, preparation and imaginativeness to draw the attention of an adolescent child. You can't take them for granted, otherwise they may just be put off or may not be interested to go through. Well-informed adolescent kids being crucial to an HIV/AIDS campaign, comic books and cartoon strips have great potential as low-cost information, education and communication tool. Slides, when projected on a big screen supported by a good soundtrack, can have magical cinematic effect at a much lower cost. The accessories include a projector, audio tape recorder and slides. These are easy to carry and effective campaigns could be launched with them with a basic electrical facility.
छोटी छोटी ब्लड वेसल्स होती हैं, खून की नसें होती हैं, अगर वो ज़रा सी भी फट जाए तो जो ये पानी जिसमें जीवाणु हैं ये खून के अंदर आ जाते हैं.
Newsletters or leaflets are another effective means to communicate. Some specific and targeted newsletters, say for high-risk populations such as truck drivers or prostitutes, are being tried out very successfully. Such newsletter or leaflets have the advantage of knowing the audience intimately, and content could be focused to their need and liking. Before we sign off, a word of caution. There is no single risk reduction message or any one medium relevant to everyone. Thus, while designing media campaign, knowing the audience is a must. Primary target audiences, that is those who practice risk behavior, and secondary act as gatekeepers, influencing the primary ones. An effective media intervention must focus on well-characterized specific target audience, and the choice of media and their permutation and combination will be guided and determined accordingly. There is no ready-made formula as such or any ready media mix. Otherwise, what creativity is all about? Bye for now.